before COVID, I had talked to a team called the Grand Prairie Airhogs in the American Association still at the time. And I had talked to them, sent them some video, and they said that they really liked what I had and that they were very interested in. And at this point, I'm in Georgia. I'm not even in Texas yet. And that they were inviting me to spring training. Well, right as I'm literally about to head out, like the week before I'm about to head out and throw live for them, COVID had hit like its peak. Like everybody started like at that point it had already been shown the NBA had already had their shutdown, MLB had had their spring training shutdown. And I'm sitting there looking at the news going, something's gonna happen. Like it's I don't want it to happen. I'm praying that they're just gonna like an independent ball, you can speak from this. There's not a lot of fans, like regardless of the league, unless it's just a freak night where it's like a huge promotion or it's a Friday, you just happen to get a ton of fans. Like at most, depending on the league, you might only have like 1,500, 2,000 fans in the stands.
Mhm.
So like you can easily space that out within some of these stadiums. They're pretty big. And I'm sitting there going, okay, maybe we'll still try to make this work. We're not going to have 35,000 people in the stands. We can make it happen. And then I got the call saying, hey, season's now no longer happening, period. We're not even going to try to push it back. We're just going to go ahead and just not have a season. And I ended up calling the team multiple times to go out there and like, hey, what's happening? Like, I'm still wanting to make this happen. I can do a quick fly out. I can, pitch for you guys in case all of a sudden the commissioner changes his mind and we do have a season. Like, I'm ready to go. And just unanswered call after unanswered call for 3-4 months. And then all of a sudden, I come to find out that team even disbanded. They had completely just shut down, no longer was
Wow.
gone. Yeah. So that was interesting. So now I'm sitting there going, I'm back at square one. And it's middle of June at this point, and I just said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and move to Texas because I knew there was other opportunities there. I was gonna go to grad school during COVID, not waste my time. That's part of my backup plan. So I'm 24 at this time. Yeah, 24 at this time, or I'm sorry, 25 at the time. 24, 25, and I'm in Texas in grad school for during the 2020 year. And then I'm doing my research, trying to find out where I'm going to go next. Like, hey, where am I going to play? Who has an opportunity for me? And there's a team that was the same distance as the team I tried to initially play for, just further south. So I drove and worked out with that team. We actually played a couple spring training games against them with the organization, the Black Sox, which is like a
Yeah.
minor league team for independent ball. Like they're like the feeder program.
Mhm.
I know that guy, Joe Torre, runs a great organization there, and he gets a lot of guys signed to independent ball in a lot of high end leagues. He's really good at what he does. He's been doing it for I think close to 15 to 17 years now. He's done it for a while, and had the opportunity to play with them and pitch, and got signed and played this past season. And unfortunately, I was released twice after following my Atlantic League release. I came to Arizona trying to pitch and get signed by an affiliate, and just had a hard look at the finances and decided 26 years old, is old for the game, and I'm out of money, and it's just time to make that move of just taking that next step in life and move on to something else, which is unfortunate.
Wow. Yeah, I mean that, and it's hard to even talk about that stuff. Because me looking at 24 right now, I have this backup plans. It's like I have like money making moves, and I'm at the point where I'm making some money. It's not like much money yet, but that's where it gets scary. And I was even talking to Joe about this. I was like, because you have the people, the naysayers in your life saying, they're being negative, and they're like, you should just quit already, and it's hard to hear that, but then you have some people who believe in you, and then I just talked to Joe about it because I was getting in my head a lot recently, and I was like, what do what would you do if you were in my shoes? And he's like, well, Joe was thinking about quitting his junior year in college, from what he told me, and then he was like, I would have quit by now, but he was like, but you keep progressing, so really try to give this a try, and so that's where it gets hard because you have people negative, and you shouldn't be listening to anyone negative. Like I know I talk about with you this really quick over text, but you have people who are like, go for it, and it's about what you do and how you can make the money, how you can make maybe passive income while you're there and see where it goes.
Yeah, so like I had the exact same people telling me, not the same story, same thing being said to me, same, mindset. And to like elaborate a little bit on it, and like even what Joe was saying, yeah, Joe, being with Joe every day in college and talking to him, getting where his mindset was, being a guy that he was and being on money, we both were really unhappy with the situation that we were unfortunately placed in at Southern. We both loved the school. We both loved our teammates. We just had some disagreements with the coaching staff, which like every player is going to have disagreements with the coaching staff. Like no team is 100% happy with every situation. And when I say that, like I'm talking about player situation. No players like not every player is gonna be happy. Oh, I'm happy with my playing time. No, there's always gonna be disagreements with the coaching staff. Like, hey, I think I should get an opportunity, this and that. But the overall experience I think we both had from Southern was a positive one. But we both had times where we're like a little bit frustrated with what had happened and what was transpiring. So I can wholeheartedly like confirm that he was that, and he just happened to go to the Cape and just really go off, and that's what happens. And it only takes one opportunity. And so to say that to you, I wouldn't let any outside forces or any voices outside try to influence you because you still are young for the game. Like you still have that golden window. Like I'm 26, turning 27 in 2022. I'm considered old. Like most guys at my age are already in the show or are already retiring due to arm fatigue or whatever. You're still young in that aspect of 24. You already had your foot in the door playing professional baseball before I did, technically age wise. So I would continue to push forward and not let anybody get in your head or anybody distract you from this because you only have one opportunity in life. It's your
Right.
life. Don't let other people influence you with what makes you happy. I would run it until the wheels fall off. If that be your arm gives out, that be you look at your financial situation, which is my biggest problem was I ran out of money. Like you know just as well as I do, and most anybody that listens to this and or plays baseball is going to know that minor league baseball players, independent baseball players, don't make anything. You really don't make
Mm-hmm.
any money. 1,200 a month depending on your status. And that's, when I say status, like you could be a guy that was in the big leagues and come down and you're still making awful money, but you might make a little bit more than a rookie, but you're still making like 1,200 bucks a month. So I wouldn't let it people get in your head. Just rock it till you know you can't do it anymore. Because
Right.
it's your life, it's not their life. And I tell Joe this all the time: if it's just life or social relationships or whatever, you're going to have outside factors. Everybody's going to try to tell you you can't do it. They're going to give
Mm-hmm.
you their 2 cents. They're going to give you, hey, this is why I think you should move on to something else. Society in general doesn't like to see how it's very few times or even moments where society wants people to have success. Everybody wants somebody to not be above them. They always want to be at the same level. So if you start progressing, they're going to come up with their reason of why you should stop so they don't feel like you're moving on and progressing ahead of them in life.
It's
If you're
actually funny you say that. Yeah, keep going. I'm sorry.
so the biggest thing I've noticed is the biggest critics you're ever going to have are your family members.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're the ones they do it out of love, but they do it unintentionally because they want you to be safe and they don't want you to risk your future or risk something. They want you to be financially secure. But if it's something that you're passionate about, you just have to do what's best for you and know in your heart and your mind that there is a risk that comes with it. But in the long run, it could be worth it. But even if it doesn't end up happening, because there's millions of people just like me and you who have aspirations to play in the big leagues under the big lights and the show and everything. But a lot of the time, just statistically, it's not in the cards for us. But you got to give it that shot until you absolutely know it's never going to happen. But you can look back and go, I did things and spent time with people that I would have never experienced if I hadn't kept going and pushing myself. Like I can say proudly that I played with a guy that was on the 2015 Mets World Series roster who knows DeGrom, knows Noah Syndergaard, was there when they lost, unfortunately, but was able to have those conversations with him. I got to face a guy that was in the big leagues who's a potential Hall of Famer in 5 years, Brandon Phillips, if he decides he
Yep.
doesn't want to go back in the league. So did I make it to the show? No. Did I get to experience it almost by playing with these guys who are still playing, getting re-signed, and going back into major league rotations? Absolutely. But did I have my people telling me, you need to stop, you need to not even pursue this? Yes. But I rode it till the wheels fell off, and I can look back and going, I didn't go where I wanted to go, but I went farther than anybody thought I would have, and I got to experience things, and now I can proudly with a smile on my face say, I went as far as I could physically go, and I got to experience things that most people would dream of, talking to major leaguers, having a casual conversation like we're buddies, shagging, BP with them and just having a good time. So
Right. Well, that's I mean